What's next in public access educational TV programming? The most effective, highest quality content with free program distribution to a traditionally underutilized national network of more than 3,000 public access channels and an audience of 180 million. The Amazing Adventures of Bodee is an educational series produced by educators that helps young children learn critical pre-reading skills on their way to becoming competent readers. The Amazing Adventures of Bodee enhances children's understanding of story plots, helps them build bridges from stories to events in their lives, builds their vocabulary, and introduces them to the realm of written language. The Amazing Adventures of Bodee does all of this through fun, entertaining activities involving letters, sounds, and rhymes. Following in the great tradition of quality educational programs like Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, each 30-minute Bodee segment consists of a TV teacher reading a story directly to the television audience with on-screen graphics specifically designed to develop connections between the spoken word and the written word and to beef up vocabulary. During the reading, our television teacher will pause periodically to interact with the audience about the storyline using props and asking questions. The goal is to educate young children and to help ensure that every child has the tools and skills to achieve academic success. We believe that realizing high standards of literacy for every child is a shared responsibility, one of schools, early childhood programs, families, and communities. We believe innovative educational TV programming, like The Amazing Adventures of Bodee, will help ensure every child's academic success and provide parents and communities with an invaluable educational resource. There is a crisis today in American education. The educational careers of 25 to 40% of American children are imperiled because they do not read well enough, quickly enough, or easily enough. 44 million adults in the U.S. can't read well enough to read a simple story to a child. But there's help in the form of The Amazing Adventures of Bodee. Research shows that children who reach school age with smaller vocabularies and fewer experiences with hearing stories and exploring with print are more likely to have significant problems in learning to read. Creating an environment that's rich in both print and the spoken word is critical to your child's language development. The number of words one knows, as well as the depth of understanding of those words, is related to the ability to think. Each episode of Bodee provides a rich learning environment by providing children with the critical literacy connection between the spoken and written word. To give children the best chance to achieve academic success, research shows the most effective approach is to read to children at least once a day, preferably more often. When reading to children, discuss selected aspects of the text in ways that encourage analysis and talk about the meanings of words. Each episode of Bodee follows that research-tested approach. As we search for corporate citizens to sponsor The Amazing Adventures of Bodee programming, one must consider how grave the situation of education in America is and how it begs for immediate action. Corporations can help provide generous funding for educational programs, make a difference for our children and the future of our country. The Amazing Adventures of Bodee and its corporate sponsors can help provide a comprehensive, quality educational experience. Thank you for caring about our kids and their future. Please stay tuned for a look at The Amazing Adventures of Bodee programming. Today's Amazing Adventures of Bodee program is brought to you by the XYZ Company.
Hey, hey, Bodee, what you doing today? We're telling a story, won't you come and play? Hey, hey, Bodee, what you reading today? A really good book, won't you come and stay? Bodee, Bodee, I love reading, just you and me. Bodee, Bodee, The Amazing Adventures of Bodee.
Hi, boys and girls. Are you ready for another adventure with me and Bodee? Good. If you love animals like lions and chimpanzees and giraffes as much as I do in Bodee too, then you're going to love this story. Our book for today is Giraffes Can't Dance by Giles Andre and Guy Parker Reese. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees. But when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Let's stop there for 1 second so I can ask Bodee and all of you a quick question.
Did I hear my name?
Yes, you did, Bodee B. Usually you're the one asking all the questions, but this time I've got a question for you and for all of our friends watching.
Okay, I'm ready. But don't make it too hard.
What do you notice about how the story is written? About how the words sound? Listen. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees. But when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. What do you notice about how the words sound? Focus on the words at the end of each sentence. Trees and knees.
I got it. Both words have double E's in them.
That's right, Bodee, but that's not exactly what I'm looking for. How do the words sound with the double E's? Trees and knees. Do they sound similar in any way?
Oh, they rhyme. They rhyme. Trees and knees rhyme.
Great job, Bodee. The words rhyme. Can you think of any other words that rhyme? Like, say, with cat.
That's easy. Dog. Just kidding. Dog doesn't rhyme with cat. But dogs do chase cats. At least my big dog Merlin chases our neighbor's cats all the time.
Okay, mister, very funny. How about some rhyming words?
Okay, no more messing around. Hat rhymes with cat. And sat rhymes with cat. And splat rhymes with cat. Splat is the sound my ice cream cone made when it slipped out of my hand and hit the sidewalk yesterday. That was really sad. I was not happy.
I can imagine. Sorry about your ice cream cone, Bodee B. I know how much you love ice cream. Now let's get back to our story about Gerald the giraffe. Now every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to sing and prance.
Dance and prance rhyme.
And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, he was really bad.
Sad and bad rhyme.
The warthogs started waltzing and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold.
Rolled and bold.
Okay, Mr. Bodee, we get it. We get the rhyming thing.
Sorry.
The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel. And 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird.
2 things. That's pretty not nice of the animals to make fun of Gerald. I'd stick up for him if I was there. And what does clumsy mean?
Well, let's try to figure it out, Bodee. So the animals are calling Gerald clumsy. And how has Gerald been talked about so far in our story? Let's go back and see. Okay, here it says, his knees were awfully crooked. And over here it says, when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. And look at him here.
Okay, so clumsy means he trips and falls down all the time.
That's right, Bodee. Poor Gerald has trouble standing on his feet. That can happen when you're really tall like a giraffe. So Gerald trips and stumbles a lot. That's what clumsy means. I can be kind of clumsy sometimes too. How about you, Bodee? Are you ever clumsy? Bodee, where'd you go? My goodness, Bodee, are you okay?
Okay. So I can be clumsy too. And I need to clean up my toys a little more often.
Careful, Mr. Bodee. We can't have the star of our show getting hurt. Okay, everybody, here we go. Let's get back to our story. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought. I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone.
Poor Gerald. I'm probably just as clumsy as he is. Whoa!
Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed a cricket who'd seen Gerald earlier on. But sometimes, when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing around.
Ground and around rhyme. Just saying.
He threw his arms out sideways, and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. I am dancing. Yes, I'm dancing. I am dancing, Gerald cried. Then one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen!"
Question. What's a miracle? It sounds like something cool.
I'm glad you asked, Bodee, because miracle is one of my favorite words. Let's try to figure out what it means together. At the beginning of the story, Gerald was known for being clumsy, right?
That's right. He was always falling down.
Right, Bodee. He was really clumsy, and he couldn't dance at all, right? And all the other animals made fun of poor Gerald because he stumbled and fell a lot. But now
He can dance. So maybe a miracle means something really cool and great.
Good job, Bodee. A miracle is definitely cool and great. And one of the things that makes it cool and great is that it's often a surprise. We don't expect a miracle to happen. Gerald went from falling down all the time to becoming a really great dancer. And that was really special and great. We didn't think that he could do it, did we? So a miracle is something really great that happens, especially when we don't expect it.
So it might be a miracle if I ever cleaned up my toys.
Exactly. And it would be really great and really cool, but we're not really expecting it to happen, are we? Now let's get back to our story. How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find music that we love. The end. I just love that story, don't you, Bodee? Gerald went from being clumsy to being a wonderful dancer. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? Now, shall we review the things we learned today?
Well, we learned what rhyming words are. Cat, sat, hat, and splat all rhyme. I can still hear my ice cream cone hitting the sidewalk. It's a cruel world. At first, Gerald was really clumsy, which means he tripped over his own feet and fell down all the time.
Right, Bodee. Another way you can be clumsy is if you bump into things a lot and knock them over.
Oops. Okay. I'm clumsy too. Gerald went from being super clumsy to being like the world's best dancer. And that's a miracle. A miracle is a really great or cool thing that happens. And sometimes it's a surprise. Like if I were to clean up my toys one day. Now that would be a miracle.
I think you've got it, Bodee, and just in the nick of time, because we have to go. Thanks, everybody, for joining Bodee B and me on another amazing adventure. See you next time.
Bye, boys and girls. See you real soon.